My name is Mia. I am 34 years old, and if someone had told me 2 years ago that my life would spiral into chaos because of a stranger on the internet, I would have laughed in their face. But now, as I sit here writing this, I can tell you with certainty the choices we make, small or big, can ripple into consequences we never see coming. It started innocently enough. I was scrolling through an online forum about photography, one of my hobbies, when a user named LensLover commented on one of my posts. His comment wasn't anything extraordinary, just a suggestion to use a different filter for better lighting. I responded politely, and that should have been the end of it. But then, a few days later, he messaged me. "Hi Mia, your photos are incredible. You have an eye for storytelling." It was flattering, and I thanked him, thinking it was just another friendly comment from a fellow photographer. Over the next few weeks, we chatted sporadically about cameras, lenses, and techniques. His name, he told me, was Daniel. He was 36, lived 2 states away, and was also married. At first, I didn't think much about it. Our conversations were harmless, or so I thought. But slowly they began to shift. "Mia," he wrote one evening, "you have such a way with words. Talking to you is the best part of my day." I remember staring at the message, my heart racing for reasons I didn't fully understand. I was married to Tom, a wonderful man who loved me deeply, and we had 2 kids, Lily and Max. My life was good, stable, but Daniel's messages awakened something in me that I hadn't felt in years. I should have stopped it there. I should have told him that our conversations were crossing a line, but I didn't. Instead, I let it continue, telling myself it was just harmless fun. The messages became more frequent, more personal. He told me about his unhappy marriage, how his wife didn't understand him. And I told him about the monotony of my life, how I sometimes felt invisible in my own home. One day he sent me a photo. A candid shot of himself sitting by a window, the light casting shadows across his face. It was intimate, vulnerable. I found myself staring at it longer than I should have. "Beautiful shot," I replied, my fingers trembling as I typed. His response came almost immediately. "I'd love to take photos of you someday. You're beautiful, Mia. You deserve to feel that way." That was the moment I realized I was in trouble. For weeks I tried to distance myself. I stopped replying to his messages, avoided logging onto the forum, but the pull was stronger than I anticipated. One evening, when Tom and the kids were asleep, I found myself typing a response to Daniel. "I can't do this anymore, it's wrong." His reply was immediate. "I understand, but I can't stop thinking about you. If this is goodbye, just know that you've changed my life." I cried that night, torn between guilt and a longing I couldn't explain. But it didn't end there. 2 months later, I got an email. The subject line read, "We need to talk." My heart sank as I opened it. Inside was a single sentence. Do you think your husband would appreciate knowing about Daniel? Attached was a screenshot of one of our private conversations, one where Daniel and I had exchanged far too much. Panic set in. Who had sent this? Was it Daniel's wife? A stranger who had somehow hacked our accounts? I immediately deleted the email and blocked the sender, but the damage was done. The guilt I'd been suppressing hit me full force. That night, I sat down with Tom and confessed everything. I told him about Daniel, the messages, the photo. I expected him to yell, to walk out, to tell me he wanted a divorce, but he didn't. Instead, he sat there, silent, his face unreadable. When I finished, he looked at me and said, "Why?" I broke down, sobbing. "I don't know. I was lonely and he made me feel seen. But I swear I never met him. I never planned to." Tom took a deep breath and nodded. "We'll get through this, Mia. But things need to change. We need to change." It wasn't easy. The trust we'd built over years of marriage had been shattered, and rebuilding it felt like an impossible task. But Tom was patient, and I was determined to make things right. As for Daniel, I never heard from him again. I deleted my account on the forum, changed my email address, and vowed to never let something like this happen again. Looking back, I realize how close I came to losing everything that mattered to me. And while I'm not proud of my actions, I'm grateful for the wake-up call they provided. If you've ever felt lost or invisible, know this: the answer isn't out there in someone else's words or validation. It's within you, and it's worth finding. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, sometimes the hardest conversations are the ones that save us.